In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my top 5 books that I read during August. There, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi. My name's Theresa, and I like books a whole lot more than I like people, so I read a lot. I wanted to sit down and chat about all of the books that I read in August. Well, not really all of the books that I read in August, but like my top 5 books. As always, I would love to hear what you have to say, so let me know in the comments down below if you read any of these books, what you thought of them, and what your favorite thing you read last month was. So I read 13 books and short stories. I do count short stories in these sort of lineups. So I read 13 pieces of literature, let me say, all together last month, and they are Tell Me How to Be by Neil Patel, Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manasala, The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zoraida Cordova, The Girl Behind the Gate by Becca Day, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, A Sound of Thunder by Ray Bradbury, Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall, Death in the Clouds by Agatha Christie, A Rose for Emily by William Faulkner, Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens, Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney, The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Connell, and The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera. Really enjoyed all but one of those books. I really didn't get the whole thing of like why everyone is so in love with The Unbearable Lightness of Being. If that is one of your favorite books, please let me know in the comments down below why you love that one so much. But without further ado, here are my top 5 in that list of the books that I read and why I like them. Coming in at number 5 is Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. So this story is one of your traditional light and fluffy rom-com sort of setups. We have two guys who both need dates for things, or rather they need their perception to be that they're both in a relationship. So they do that whole like, hey, let's pretend that we're in a relationship for our events, for our public image. It is a true like enemies to frenemies to lovers sort of deal. As I was reading it, I kind of found like it is one of those, I like romance stories that are like more the like light and fluffy, and for a while it kind of was boring me. Like I thought like this is okay, it's gonna be like a solid, like in my mind I was thinking it's gonna be a solid like 2.5, maybe 3. But towards the middle, it kind of changed. It was still light and fluffy. It still gave me all the warm and cozies inside of my cold, cold heart. But the ending, not that the ending was shocking, but the ending wasn't until the very, very end. Like, we went all this big journey on this like rom-com, like they're obviously going to get together. They're obviously going to get together. And like spoiler, they do get together in the end because of course they do. But up until like the third to last page, it wasn't sure. Like as the reader, you were not sure that they were going to actually end up together. And for that, I was like, okay, well that just has to make it to my top 5. Overall, I did think Boyfriend Material was super cute. And I think in Goodreads, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Number 4 is The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zoraida Cordova. This book was like music. It was such a lyrical writing style. It was beautiful. This book follows multiple timelines, which if you have watched my other book review videos, if you haven't, I'll link them down below in the description box. But those are by far my favorite types of books that follow different perspectives and different timelines. So it does follow Orquídea Divina's family. She is the matriarch of this family, and it is quite a magical family. It's quite a magical book. So part of the book interwoven like kind of in each other, like chapter after chapter. Some of the chapters follow Orquídea's story from whenever she was a child to the present, and some of the chapters are about her grandchildren or nieces or nephews. So there is a lot in there. It is all about family acceptance, family trauma, and all woven together with such beautiful writing. Definitely do give this one a 5 out of 5. Number 3 on my list is Death in the Clouds by Agatha Christie. I saw on the cover that it was titled Death in the Air. Death in the Air is what it was originally titled, but this is a locked room mystery or a locked plane mystery because it takes place on an airplane. Love this one. I love Agatha Christie. She's one of my favorite authors, and this is one of the stories that I had not read by her. It is a Hercule Poirot. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Probably not. But it is one of his mysteries where he is the one that solves it. Side note, I am like convinced, like my conspiracy that I'm creating in my head is that Poirot and Miss Marple, who are her two, I would say, most famous crime solvers or murder solvers. I am convinced that they are actually like serial killers and that they are the ones who are actually committing all of these murders, and they just happen to solve them and put the blame on anybody else that they can find. Yeah, that's the conspiracy I have in my mind going. But that fever dream conspiracy aside, this was a great book. Usually with murder mysteries and thrillers, those are kind of my jam currently. Usually though, by like halfway through, I can pretty much tell like, oh, this person was the one who did it. But not really with Agatha's books. We're on a first name basis. Not really with her books, and this one was no exception. I had kind of like narrowed it down to like 3 people who it could possibly have been, but I had no clue of who was actually the one who did the killing until the very last chapter of the book. Death in the Clouds, of course, since it is my number 3 in the countdown, it does get a 5 out of 5. Number 2 is The Inheritance of Addie LaRue. That would be The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Every single review I had either read or watched about this book since it's come out was like, it is the most life-changing book I've ever read. It like totally the best book ever sort of thing. So I went into reading this book expecting a lot, like 100%, like the decks were stacked against this book, because I was like, if this is not a beautiful book, I'm gonna be upset. And do I think it's life-changing? No. I mean, I personally didn't think it was that life-changing. It made me think, and it definitely is number 2, and it actually was going to be number 1 before I finished the month. But it was beautiful. It was gorgeously written. The characters were so involved with each other. It was, at some points, a heart-wrenching story. Like, it made me cry multiple times. The ending definitely made me cry, but it is a beautiful book, and I highly recommend it. It is definitely one of the books that I would put on the like, I wish I could scrub my memory clean so I could read it again and experience it for the first time. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, if you have not heard about it before, is about Addie LaRue, who makes a wish that, or not a wish, she makes a deal. She makes a deal with the devil. He's not really the devil, but a deal with the devil, for lack of a better term, that she wants to sort of be able to live her own life in an indefinite sort of way without having to be tied down to anybody. And because she doesn't have like any certain guidelines that she makes with this deal, the being that she makes the deal with, he like really takes it out on her and makes it so that she lives forever. But whenever anybody leaves the room or turns their back on her, they completely forget about her. She has lived 300 years. She has experienced a lot. And so the book does have that dual timeline, that it does bounce back and forth from her current life to back in the day, like back in the 1800s, so that we can see all of the big events during the span of her 300-year life. And the number 1 book that I read during August was Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. I read this book technically over 2 days, but if I would have wanted to like stay up way past my bedtime and not have been able to like focus at work, I could have stayed up and read it in 24 hours. It's an amazing book. Alice Feeney is one of my all-time favorite thriller, like psychological thriller writers. She is always throwing those twists in that like I just don't see coming. The inside flap of the book says that it was actually inspired by Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. So this is a locked room murder, y'all, or rather a locked house murder. So we have 2 locked place murders, which is by far my favorite in the murder mystery genre. Daisy Darker follows the Darker family, who all go out to visit their Nana for her 80th, I think, birthday, an up there number birthday. And during her birthday party, Nana dies unexpectedly. And so it very quickly turns into one of those whodunit sort of things, because they are in a house that is on an island that the tide has come up, and so the causeway is completely shut off, and like no one can get in, no one can get out. This is definitely like a twist and turn sort of book. There are actually 2 twists at the end. One of the twists I do have to say, I figured half of that one twist, but the second twist I did not see coming at all, and as I was reading, I audibly gasped, which does not happen a lot. Like a lot of times when I read something like thrilling, I'll be like, but like I was like, oh, you have to read this book. You have to stop watching my video right now. Just kidding. Please watch to the end. But you have to go and buy this book or rent it from the library, check it out from the library, whatever you call it. You have to get this book so you can read the book, come back and chat with me about it in the comments down below. So that is it. I had actually kept notes if you saw me looking down. Like I said earlier, let me know in the comments down below what you've been reading lately. I would love to hear from you. If you have not done so already, please do consider joining our family. Right now, I am 200 people away from reaching 2,000 subscribers, which is mind-blowing considering when I started this channel, I thought that maybe 3 people, if that, would watch my videos. So thank you for your continued support. Please do consider hitting that subscribe button, ringing that bell, sharing out this video, you know, all of those small things that really do help me grow my channel and let other people know that we're here and they can come over and hang out. All right, so that's it for me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day and I'll see you in another video. Goodbye.